Next, controversial businessman Clive Palmer agrees to fund the cash for unpaid workers' entitlements 3 years after the collapse of the Queensland nickel refinery. It comes as he plans to reopen the business. Coalition concerns deepen as Bill Shorten strengthens his lead in the race to the polls. And Australia, Maroons and South Sydney Rabbitohs superstar Greg Inglis announces his sudden and immediate retirement from the NRL. 9 News Mackay is next.
Johnny's.
Tonight, tax cuts and emergency funding on the agenda for federal political campaigns.
Clive Palmer promises to pay sacked workers 3 years after Queensland Nickel's collapse.
Hydrogen set to grow jobs, but is the mining sector being left behind?
Rabbitohs great Greg Inglis gives up more than $1 million to walk away from the game he loves.
And the unusual item which saw the bomb squad called to an airport.
This is 9 News Mackay.
Good evening. Clive Palmer has promised to pay back any sacked Queensland nickel workers who are still owed money just weeks out from the federal election.
The move is being seen as a cynical vote grab, days before the businessman learns if he'll be picked to contest the local seat. But he says it isn't about politics.
Flocked by an army of Queensland nickel workers who didn't lose their jobs, a backflip from Chairman Clive Palmer. Philip Calder, 9 News.
Labor's promised $40 million of emergency relief funding to our nation's neediest, including North Queenslanders affected by natural disasters. But the Coalition says it's not necessary and there's already enough money available.
Make no bones about it. In Cairns today, the member for Leichhardt was ready to sink his teeth into a meaty final tilt at re-election.
For immediate help.
Jordan Bissell, 9 News.
Gladstone's been described as a renewables success story. The acting premier today pitching the city's potential as a biohydrogen powerhouse. But while it's spruiking future job opportunities in the emerging industry, the state government's being accused of standing in the way of mine workers.
It's the smallest atom in the universe, but hydrogen has big potential.
There is no doubt that the world is hungry for cleaner sources of energy and
9 News.
Mackay residents held a protest against Adani's Carmichael mine over the weekend, marching to Blue Water Quay as part of the Walk for Water. The Mackay Conservation Group says protesters are concerned the federal government rushed the approval of the project's groundwater plan and bowed to political pressure. Organiser Michael Cate said in a statement the decision ignores due process and leaves unanswered questions about the mine's impact on the Great Artesian Basin.
Police have described it as out of the ordinary, a glass angel statue prompting a security scare at Rockhampton Airport yesterday. The bomb squad was called to investigate the suspicious package, as 9's Alexandra Cullen reports.
Staff at Rockhampton Airport found the item around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, which had been left on a chair in the passenger pickup area. They treat matters like this extremely seriously.
Alexandra Cullen reporting there. Hundreds of people made the trek to Julia Creek for the 25th annual Dirt and Dust Festival over the weekend. The event featured live performances, a round of the professional bull riding competition and a triathlon with 260 athletes.
The fact that...
Now let's take a quick look at fuel. Mackay, $1.49.3. It was a heinous murder that shocked the nation. The brutal slaying of police officer Damien Leading, who died protecting his community. Now one of his convicted killers is set to walk free from prison despite desperate pleas from Damien's mother to keep him locked up.
Live now to Emily Prain. Emily, what's next for Damien's family?
Well, Nicole, there's nothing more they can do. The parole board's decision is now final, but Power won't be a free man completely. He's got some very strict parole conditions, and they are that he mustn't go anywhere near the leading family, and he'll have to wear a GPS tracking device to make sure that doesn't happen. Paul, the rest of his family can take some comfort, though, in knowing it'll be a very long time, if ever at all, before the man who actually pulled the trigger will be released.
Yeah, still a disturbing update there. Thank you, Emily. There are a few showers around the country's north today. Sophie Ryan joins us with some details. Sophie, how are things looking for the week ahead?
Good evening, Paul. The weather should be fairly mild across much of northern Australia in the lead up to Good Friday. We'll see mostly clear skies over inland Queensland, while a ridge along the east, which triggered some showers today, will continue to bring a bit of wet weather to coastal areas over the next few days. This is pretty typical for this time of the year in Queensland. Shifting to the Northern Territory now, and it's looking pretty stable, mainly warm and dry, although there may be a few showers across the top end. I'll have more details in the full weather report coming up soon.
See you then, Sophie. Still ahead in 9 News, an innocent driver attacked by an ice addict on a bender. After the break, the terrifying moment he drags her from her car as two witnesses rush to help.
The return of the champions. Did Tiger Woods stage the greatest comeback in sporting history?
A real-life drama for actress Joan Collins as her luxury London apartment catches fire.
And exclusive, how this man survived a shark attack from a 3-metre monster. River. Talk about going out with a bang. It's time for sport with Paul Murphy. And Murph, GI's gone, but not forgotten.
That's right, PT. Our special report on how he rose to greatness, that's coming up next. Also ahead, a stunning oversight after Dennis Hogan's world title fight. Plus, why Lions captain Dane Zorko has laid down the law to his midfield brigade. Big names left out of Australia's one-day World Cup squad. And why the ghosts of the past are fueling Sam Stosur's Fed Cup finals charge.
The biggest Big Bang.
Choosing the right time to retire is one of the hardest things a professional athlete can do. But tonight, Greg Inglis is comfortable he's made the right decision to end his glittering career. And as you're about to see, rugby league is better as a better sport for his service. Born in Ireland before returning to Brisbane. Cowboys winger Nene McDonald is likely to miss the rest of the season after undergoing surgery on his gruesome ankle injury. McDonald was cut down late in the Cowboys' loss to the Storm. Today, the NRL dropped referees Grant Atkins and Gavin Badger for failing to stop the match.
In what should be no Stowe, 9 News.
Mackay basketball has travelled to Rockhampton over the weekend with one goal in mind, to take home 2 wins from their QBL pre-season games. And they did just that. The Meteorettes toppled the Cyclones 71-45, while the Meteors claimed a 15-point result over the Rockets.
The Rockets hit the ground running early against Mackay, eager to prove themselves on home soil. But the result didn't swing in their favour. The